Welcome to the Working Mama podcast. This is your host and fellow working mama, Carina O'Brien. This is the show for working women who are navigating motherhood and ambition and working out also how to navigate the juggle of career and motherhood. In today's episode, we're diving into something many new mums, and I'd say every mum wrestles with after maternity leave: identity, crisis, and yes, would you believe, the clothes we wear. Joining me today is the amazing and very stylish Lisa Stockman, a personal stylist who's passionate about helping women reconnect with their confidence and redefine their wardrobe after major life transitions, such as becoming a mum. So whether you're returning to work, rediscovering your style post-baby, or just stuck in the mum clothes rut, this episode is full of practical tips, inspiration, and mindset shifts to help you feel empowered in your clothes and confident in your skin. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome to the Working Mama podcast. How's your day been so far?
Thanks for having me, Carina. I've had a great day. Actually done some menswear today, which I know is not what we're talking about tonight, but we all have similar issues. So I'm looking forward to getting into it with you.
Fantastic. Well, I know you because we've connected for a number of years now, and I love your Instagram feed with so many tips and tricks and things like that for styling. And that's why I wanted to get you on today, because so much about as well of confidence can also be about what we're wearing and how we then portray ourselves. So just to also take a bit of back step, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you become a personal stylist?
Well, I think from the age of about 9, I can remember being desperate to go shopping with whoever would take me. And it wasn't to buy things for myself. It was almost like being on a treasure hunt where I could scan racks of clothing and pick it out for that person that took me shopping. And I adored it from about the age of 9. And then 16 years ago, I opened a denim and basic store here in Melbourne. And I used to have clients who'd come in and ask me to come to their home and help me sort out their wardrobe and dress them for other events. And then when I sold the business and went back into corporate working for big retailers, I always had clients on the side. And then 6 months before COVID, I had a little bit of a life crisis and just decided that I really wanted to follow my passion of styling as a full-time gig. And it was that compromise of, I'm a single mum. Do I give up the corporate salary and go for what I really want? Or do I just go for the paycheck? And so I decided to take the leap and turn my side hustle into my full-time gig. And I can't imagine doing anything else.
Oh, that's amazing to actually follow your passion and your dreams and things like that. And obviously it's been quite successful. What do you enjoy the most about styling someone?
I think it's the transformation. So it's taking someone from feeling really stuck and a little bit lost, like they're disconnected from self. And there's a moment where you put someone in a fitting room and they put something on that they wouldn't necessarily have chosen for themselves. And then for the first time in ages, they see their true self reflected back, and you see a smile and you see their shoulders go back. And that's what gets me out of bed every single day. It's what makes me love my job. I've never, ever got to a Monday morning and thought, I don't want to go to work today. Those moments really just for me are everything. And seeing people then have the confidence to go and achieve whatever they want to, I think it always goes so much beyond the clothes.
Because clothes can be, I know sometimes we may put something on and things like that. We often comment, we've got our mum wardrobe and then our work wardrobe and things. Like, what role do clothes have in helping us feel good about ourselves? Because I know as mums, we can sometimes feel, oh, look, even today I'm recording this, I would say I'm in my mum wardrobe I've been running around after kids all day. So what is it that we've, how they feel, and I guess they make us feel?
I think if I asked you to think about one time in your life where you put on an outfit that was amazing and you felt your best self, you would understand the power that you felt on that day or for that occasion. And I know that a lot of people who are new mums, especially, you give your body over to these little humans. And in a way, your whole self becomes for someone else. And I think in that process, a lot of women lose themselves. They don't really put themselves first anymore because they've had to put everyone else first. And so being able to put on an outfit where they feel really good in the body that they're in now is just awesome. And clothes have so much power. You have revenge dresses. Princess Di had a famous revenge dress. There are so many different ways that clothes can give you power, give you an armor, and help you achieve something, whether it's a job interview or going out dating, feeling confident. They have heaps of power, which I love.
Yeah, I know personally as well. I've got my clothes that help me feel good if I know I've got that sometimes that awkward meeting or I'm meeting someone important. As you say, it's that extra armor of like, okay, I'm in my power suit and I can still do this. And it's fun. It is like putting on some armor, is what you said.
Yeah. And even color, I mean, we won't have time to get in it tonight, but color can be used even strategically as well. So, sometimes if I have a client who's going for their first job interview in a specific industry, I will suggest specific colors that will work really well strategically. So I know this is a very morbid example, but here in Melbourne, there's a funeral company called White Lady Funerals. And they're specifically white for a reason, because white shows empathy and trust. If it was Red Lady Funerals, and red is a really fiery and passionate color, it would be a complete mismatch. So even things like color can make a big difference to your confidence and how you're perceived as well.
Oh, how interesting. There's so much to it. And sometimes you think, oh, I'm just going to put this on. But if it's black, white, red, there's all different ways that it can also be portrayed. And
Yeah.
so how do you think as well that as we become mums, as you said, we give so much to ourselves, but also in your work, do you notice that our wardrobes also change? Before we became a mum, they may be in one way, particularly at work. But then also once we become a mum, you may go, oh my goodness, what the heck was I actually wearing all those years? And also about their body shape, I guess, as well.
Yeah. So I think there's two camps that I see in a woman's wardrobe in Australia all the time when they're a young mum. One is they've got the cook-eye dress. So it's some micro mini dress that they wore on the dance floor in their 20s that was size 0, but they can't get rid of it because it's almost like a symbol of their youth. Or there's the cute bodycon dress that they wore with 9-inch heels in a corporate job where everything was really fitted and structured. And no one's wearing those things anymore. And so it's almost like people hang on to this stuff in their wardrobe because they don't want to let go of that person that was them. And so part of the work that I do when I edit someone's wardrobe, most people actually just want me to give them permission to let that part of them go. And I think when you're a young mum, part of it is understanding that your body has done the most incredible thing by having a child. And you're not the same person you are when you wore the cook-eye dress on the dance floor at 3 a.m. There is still a bit of you in there, but
You're still doing different. You're doing different. It's a different kind of nightlife at 3 a.m.
It's speeding and yeah. So it's not to say that we just disregard that person. Style is always finding an essence of who that person is, no matter where they are on life's journey. But it is understanding that your body will never, you're not a static human being. So I always say your style evolves just as you do. And the beautiful thing is, I think your best style is always ahead of you, because as you get older and you learn about yourself more and you care less about what other people think, you really embrace your style again.
What a good way of thinking about it as well. And yeah, but it's also funny how, as you say, there are those outfits that have had those special moments that I'm just thinking of some outfits myself that I'm like, I love that, but will I ever wear it again? Probably not.
Yeah, but yeah.
And so how do we then evolve in that space, I guess, as we're, returning back into work and I guess discovering our new selves? Should we just ditch the old wardrobe and go on employ someone like yourself to help us through that journey, or do we hold on to it, or how do we work through some of those moments? And I guess also rediscovering our style, but also our new body shape, because I know returning to work, sometimes you may still be breastfeeding and some of the other things that happen, but also sometimes, your body shape has also changed as well in ways that you may not necessarily expect.
Yes. I think the first place to start, because obviously not everybody has the means to engage a stylist like me. So I would suggest to anybody is, if you've got an hour spare, take yourself on a date, which sounds really weird, but I'm a big fan of journaling. And I would suggest to someone to go and have a coffee or a cup of tea somewhere that's not in their home. Take a notepad and pen, or if you have to write on your phone, but just be somewhere where it's just you. And the main thing that I would focus on is, what are 3 words to describe how you want to feel in your clothes? That's the absolute first port of call. And I ask all my clients this question, and they think it's a bit odd. But the reason that I come to this as a fundamental principle is because this will change over your lifetime. It will change depending on the event. But the reason it's powerful is because, let's say your 3 words are confident, comfortable, and approachable, as 3 common words that I hear. It's really easy, because when you then go into your wardrobe and you're deciding, should I keep this or not? Ask yourself, does it make me feel confident, comfortable, approachable? And chances are it removes all the guilt, the shame, the other emotions caught up in our wardrobe, and it becomes very objective. So often you're hanging on to things that are not comfortable, fit in them, they don't make you feel confident. And, it might be some bodycon dress that actually isn't approachable at all. It's black and it's quite hardcore. So automatically you can eliminate those things from your wardrobe without getting emotional about it. And likewise, if you're in the fitting room, there's a lot of distractions in retail stores, bright lights, music, salespeople. So if you're in the fitting room and you think, okay, does this make me feel confident? Am I comfortable in it? Do I look approachable? It's pretty straightforward. It's a yes or no. And so just having those words as your reference, I think, is a really good starting point.
That's certainly a really good way of, I guess, by doing the edit, as well as also when you're out shopping, because of course, women, we've got that tendency, and also when there's a sale on and things like that, that we may go for it. But actually, I remember you saying one time, don't get caught up in the sale mindset.
Right. And there's so many sales on at the moment. I remember from my days, I used to work for a very big retailer here in Australia, and the rule was that an item was on the floor at full price for 6 weeks before it started getting marked down. Those days are gone. I mean, now, if things aren't selling after a week, they're on sale. So, style and fashion are very different things. Fashion is a business. And, when I grew up, there were 2 sales a year.
Yeah.
Year clearance, 1 Boxing Day sale. Now there's sales on all the time. So it's very hard to, avoid the lure of the bargain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and particularly the way that the day and age is at the moment and things like that, it's like you can certainly get swept up there and things to actually do it. So you also mentioned around confidence and things like that. As what we're talking about before, mindset then has a really then strong role to play. And I guess as we're returning back into work, our confidence might be a bit lacking. Even sometimes, all the time that you might have those confidence dips or that imposter syndrome might rear its ugly head. But clothes have that way to, I guess, as you were saying, be that armor, isn't it? That it's probably something I know I've reflected on this quite a bit, that I don't actually realize the role that clothes were playing until I've gone quite deliberately, what am I going to wear because I want to feel this way? And I look back to even myself then maybe 15 years ago going into a boardroom meeting, I very subconsciously was thinking about what I was wearing, but now I'm a lot more conscious about it. It's interesting, I think, as well, the mindset that also comes in around the confidence. And I'm thinking it's clothes, but they have this other armor that can, I guess, help us in those days.
It's really interesting because I work with women of all different ages. And I think there's some real delineation. So when a woman is starting in her career, she almost has to dress like a man.
Mhm.
So not too sexy, not too feminine. This is in a corporate space I'm talking about. Doesn't draw too much attention to her figure, has to prove herself. She comes back from mat leave. So she goes away, has kids, comes back from mat leave. And that's when the confidence, I think, is at its lowest from what I see. If a woman continues into her career, into my age, so late 40s, 50s, and so on, and she's proven herself in her field, it goes the other way where she kind of goes, I don't know what I want because I don't need to prove who I am and my ability. Men don't have any of those. Men don't have any of those segues.
No,
And
they wear the same thing.
we're the same thing all the time. They don't deal with any of that. And so I think for women coming back into the workforce, I think the power of clothes is it can give you a confidence when you're feeling really lacking in confidence. You might have been out of the workforce for quite some time. You're just re-entering. Maybe you're entering into a different career path. But if you look right and if you feel confident and comfortable in what you're wearing, people would never know that you've been out of the workforce.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we as women, we are judged far more than men are for our appearance. So you either take that on and just go, well, I'm going to write my story. If you don't, other people will write it for you.
It's such a good way. And there's different ways of thinking about personal style. So if there's someone saying, right, I want to have this image maybe at work, is there ways that people can go, all right, this is the type of clothes or the style of clothes to actually help me feel confident and approachable as what you were saying before?
Yeah, I think the first place to start is actually really simple. And that is whatever the industry you're going back into, you need to work out what is the dress code now of whatever industry you're going back into, because post-COVID, things have changed so much. Work is far more casualized. You know, it used to be casual Friday was a thing. Now most workplaces are casual or business casual most days, which sounds amazing, but it's actually more confusing because when you had more strict dress codes, it was far easier. It's like wearing a school uniform. You kind of know what you can wear. But when it's more casual, you have more choice. And that's where people are getting confused. So my advice would be definitely research what people are wearing. So when you go for job interviews or if you're working with recruiters, ask them what the dress code is and ask them things like, is denim okay? Are sneakers okay? Is it a suit? That sort of, and get an idea of at least what your parameters are. So, because working in a creative space is very different to working for an accounting firm or, all these things. Government's different again. So you want to have an understanding there first. That's your first port of call. And then you can kind of work out what are the core pieces you need to get you started. And I never suggest to people to go out and buy, a whole new wardrobe. I think it's really good to have a good starting point. So you've got your first few weeks under your belt, you've got things to wear, and then just ease into the job and see how you feel in those clothes before you then go buy more.
And I know one thing you often talk about is a staples wardrobe as well. So you, as you said, there's things that you can mix and match, and I guess that helps you as well in those first few weeks and months.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things I think my clients and probably my social media followers get sick of me saying is, I always say, what are 3 things you can wear it with?
I
So
actually use this now when I can say, anyone who's listening, I have adopted Lisa. I've gone, okay, if I'm buying this, what are the 3 things I can wear it with, or what's an alternative? Don't just buy it for one wear.
yeah, because I went through this on the weekend myself. I saw this pair of pants. I thought, I have to have these pants. And I took a step back from them, left the shop, and I thought, what are 3 things I can wear these with? And do I have something similar? And it turns out, sure as eggs, I had something similar. And so I left them. But when you're in there and they look great, and if you think that way logically, you'll end up buying less, but buying better and buying pieces that mix and match.
Yeah, it's so used. I actually did that over Christmas. I walked into a shop. I loved the dress, but I left and I kept thinking about the dress of like, okay, what are the different occasions that I could use this at? I went back and bought it because I was like, I can't get this dress out of my head. And I'm so glad I did because but it was working well. But yeah, now I'm often thinking, okay, when have I got this? What other outfits? And, if I bought a blazer recently, I was like, okay, what are the colors, but what pants or skirts could I wear this with?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's so many different things of, okay, don't just buy it for one outfit. But I think also as mums, then it also helps then from an economics perspective, you can then go, okay, and you can mix and match and I guess upgrade it and downgrade it depending on work function or maybe something a bit more casual.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a client on the phone today, and she is going to a ball in August, and she said, "Oh, can we go shopping for this outfit?" And I said, "How many of these black tie events have you got this year?" And she said, "1." And I said, "Okay, well, you're going to go hire the dress." Because what's the point of spending whatever it was going to be on an outfit that she's going to wear once?
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess it's something we don't even consider at times is hiring as well.
It's the best. You get the photos, you love it for the weekend, and then you don't wear it again. And you just get that. It's brilliant.
Very economical. And so where you just mentioned before about COVID changing things a bit. What have you noticed? Like obviously a bit more jeans and denim and things as well. I know personally that I sometimes don't wear denim deliberately because I'm like, that's my mum wardrobe and I want to be in work mode. Like it's interesting the clothes that I'm in depending on what role I'm playing on that particular day.
Oh.
That's just me personally, of having that delineation between my two worlds. Where have you seen some of that style change, and what are you seeing, I guess, is the norm and things like that at the moment?
You know what's funny is pre-COVID, people would wear white trainers, and there were a couple of brands. And now if you go into a department store and you look at the retail footprint of sneakers, it takes up half a shoe floor.
Yeah.
It never did before.
No.
And, one of the things I get rid of most in women's wardrobes are heels. A lot of women can't wear heels anymore because they went for years without doing it. And most workplaces, corporate workplaces, even if they're very conservative and very dressy, women just don't wear sky-high heels that we used to wear in the 90s and early 2000s. Now it's much shorter heels, if any at all. A lot of women are wearing flats. There's definitely a lot more soft suiting. So a trend that has not left since we came out of lockdown is soft suiting. So lots of blazers and pants, but baggier styles and not so structured, like a lot more relaxed. So you'll often see women wearing a suit with a t-shirt and trainers to work, and that's totally acceptable. Whereas we would never have seen that pre-COVID. You just wouldn't, unless you're working maybe in a creative agency or a casual retailer. You just wouldn't have seen that in corporate. Yeah, I think they're probably the two big shifts, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for that, what would you say are some staple items that we, if you could say, look, for working mums that would, I guess, help us in both all our worlds, what would be some of those staples that, if someone's reviewing their wardrobe and say, what do I need to go out and buy? What would it be?
I would definitely say at least one blazer. I think the beauty of blazers is they add this structure and polish. So whether you're working on Zoom or in an office, they're instant elevation. And then you can go somewhere like Uniqlo and get a fabulous t-shirt that's $19.90 underneath. You add a great earring and you're good to go. Like, it's pretty simple. You can start there. If jeans don't work in your workplace, probably I think one of the most fabulous unsung heroes these days is faux leather, because faux leather skirts or pants look so cool and so elevated. They're great as a mum because if they get dirty, you just wipe them with a baby wipe.
And we've all got those.
Yeah. They're less expensive than leather, so there's not so much of the guilt factor, but it's like the best thing to wear from work to weekend or from desk to bar. So if you had like a great faux leather skirt, a t-shirt and a blazer, you could wear it with trainers, or then you could swap it out for a kitten heel. So I think faux leather is, if you don't have any in your wardrobe, go try some on, because you'll put it on and feel amazing. And it has a bit more stretch to it than real leather, which I like. So that's a really affordable thing. But really the keys is having good basics. So good t-shirts and things like, I don't know if you found this when you were a new mum, but I certainly found I used to sweat a lot more. And I find a lot of the women I work with do. So I go to places like Uniqlo, get great t-shirts, great merino wool basics. They're really affordable and you can put them in the washing machine. So those things are great. And if I had to pick one pair of shoes, it would be a kitten heel, low kitten heel, bit of a stacked heel in a nude color.
Ah,
Goes with everything.
yeah.
It goes with absolutely everything. So if I'm doing someone's wardrobe and they're starting from scratch, that is always my first port of call.
I know what I'm buying for my next pair of shoes. Thank you very much.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Definitely accessories. So women, I find in Australia, women do not accessorize. So I'm wearing these sort of big earrings now. They're very light. And so when I go on Zoom, or if I'm just wearing a plain top, I put on one pair of earrings. I think they were $40 and some lipstick, and I'm
And
done.
it changes it. Yeah.
Whereas if I took these off and I took off my lipstick, I look like I probably just got out of bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even at my desk, I always keep an earring or a necklace, big necklace, and a lipstick. That's it.
Helps jazz it up and help you. So I guess if we're styling ourselves, yeah, there's more to it, and also, yeah, lipstick, the earrings, and even I guess the makeup if you want to wear makeup and things like that. So it's how you elevate an outfit, really.
And you don't, as I said, you don't need to go out and buy 10 pairs of earrings. Just buy one and see how it goes for you. And if it's easy and you enjoy it, then buy another one. It doesn't have to be a whole spending spree.
Yeah, as you said, like you can actually get the staples and be economical about it.
Yes.
And actually then build up from there and do that. I remember speaking to you a few years ago about blazers, and I remember buying my first one and I was like, why did I not get on this bandwagon earlier? And I've since then bought a few more along my journey. But even the other weekend, I wore a blazer on with just some jeans, and I was like, that's like your work outfit. I'm like, no, I'm kind of mix it up and things. It's funny, like, but just the different looks and the diversity, something like that, that can also
Yeah.
join you.
Yeah. Like you could put, your favorite band t-shirt under a blazer, jeans and trainers. I actually don't love the idea of separating work and weekend, but I know some people do. Just from an economical perspective, it obviously depends on the person or the client, but most things you can wear both.
Yeah, definitely. And so if you've got so if someone's listening at the moment and they're feeling really overwhelmed about their wardrobe, maybe overwhelmed about where to start, or they're like, I hate my wardrobe, which I know a few people are like, I've got nothing to wear and things like that. But what would be some final tips or tricks or advice that you've got to those people? Because I know they're probably thinking of going, yeah, okay, I could do this and this, but it's still maybe overwhelming, or they're probably thinking of their wardrobe of, I wish I could just start again.
Well, if you're in that space, I think just to give you an idea, the average wardrobe edit takes me 4 hours,
Wow.
and that's going pretty quickly. So if you're doing this on your own and you're overwhelmed, please don't feel that you have to do a whole wardrobe edit in one sitting, because I think you don't want to set yourself up for failure. And so I think the first port of call is definitely thinking about those feel words. So how do you want to feel in your clothes? If you go into your wardrobe, maybe just start with one section. So I organize my clients' wardrobes into sections, like all coats together, jackets together, and so on. Most people's wardrobes aren't like that. They're just a mismatch. So just give yourself one section on a day where you've got the energy, and then go through each piece and say, does this make me feel the way I want to feel? Does it fit me? Have I got 3 things to wear it with? And if you don't, just get rid of it. Move it on, donate it, sell it. If it's got holes in it or the elastic's disintegrated, just get rid of it. I promise you, you will feel so much better just clearing out some of that excess. So the average that I get rid of from a woman's wardrobe is 2 black garbage bags.
Wow.
We buy 25 kilos of new clothes a year on average in Australia. And, our landfill, we are one of the biggest consumers in the world of clothing. And most people wear only 20% of it. And so I realize it is a big outlay to see a stylist, but something that I'm very passionate about is not over consuming. I don't have a big wardrobe. I really consider my purchases, and I do the same for my clients. If they're not wearing their clothes, I haven't done my job. So I think it's, less is so much more.
Yeah. And I guess quality over quantity sometimes as well.
Yep, 100%.
You know,
Dollar for wear, girl dance, or whatever I pray. Yeah.
and you don't have to follow the fast fashion and things like that all the time.
Because the trend that, like people say, oh, what jeans are on trend? And honestly, trends move so quickly that I think it's more about knowing what suits your shape. Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually got some clothes recently I actually thought about tossing out, and then they've actually come back in fashion. I'm like, oh, wow, this is handy from something I bought 10 years ago. I can start wearing it again.
It's funny how, like, my kids are 19 and 16, and all their friends, they're boys, but all the friends that are girls, they love what we wore in the 90s. So we're all amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious. So any other final tips or advice, Lisa, on all things, I guess, styling? I know we could be here for hours, but anything final for fellow moms out there?
I think just be really kind to yourself. And I know that your body is changing, but it's done beautiful things. And so when you get ready in the morning, instead of looking in the mirror and working out what you're going to cover up, start thinking about the things that you love about your body that you want to show, whether it's your hair, whether it's that you've got a slim waist, whatever it is. And, the person's voice you hear the most in your life is your own. So, make it a nice voice. Speak to it like you would your best friend. And it goes a long way into how you feel about yourself and your confidence. So Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. I know that many people are going to get a lot out of this. And I know certainly I always do whenever I speak to you. Just quickly, how do you fill your cup?
I'm perimenopausal now, and so the best thing that I've done in the last 18 months is lift weights. Weight training makes me feel really strong, and I'm at a point in my life where I love feeling strong. And I'm a little bit late on the uptake, but I do meditate before I go to bed and journal. So those three things are absolutely fill my cup. Otherwise, studying Italian, traveling, being with my boys, so many things to love about life.
Fantastic. Well, how can people get in touch with you and find out more?
So I'm most active on my Instagram, which is Lisa Stockman Stylist. I have lots of free styling tips and videos on there. And my website is lisastockman.com.au. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Highly recommend following Lisa on Instagram. She gives away so many great tips and things like that. She goes to runs some cool events, and yeah, highly recommend it. So I definitely get a lot out of it. So thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us and for sharing your wisdom on personal styling and also for working moms. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Carina.
Thank you for listening to the Working Mama podcast. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast catcher. Please also feel free to contact me on any of the Working Mama social channels. Remember, Mama is MUMMA, or website www.workingmama.com.au. I would appreciate you to share this podcast with friends and colleagues, especially those that are parents managing the juggle. And I would really appreciate if you had to take the time out to leave a review of the podcast. Thank you and see you next time. Have a great week.